Chair, members of the board. My name is Ann Bodine. I'm with Arlingtonians for Our Sustainable Future, and I'm here to talk about missing middle housing. Next slide, please. In 2018, Arlington had a population of about 225,000, and it is reaching 286,000 by 2040. That's larger than the populations of Charlottesville and Culpeper combined. Next slide. Every taxpayer here now will have to subsidize each newcomer on average by about $850. Next slide. Next one. Yes, thank you. To accommodate growth, the county is looking favorably at missing middle housing to add density in single-family neighborhoods. But once we upzone, there's no going back. We'll see more tree loss, no yards, more storm runoff, and flooding. Next slide. The county says we need housing to transition between single-family homes and high-rises, but it has admitted in its research that the housing already existing in our single-family neighborhoods is about 50% of a type more dense than single-family dwellings. Next slide. The county implies missing middle can deliver affordability and diversity, but new duplexes recently sold for $1 million each. I don't see how that is a major driver of affordability or diversity. Next slide. Next slide. The county also has failed to accommodate the cost or planning for these newcomers and their services. We see here water main breaks and substantial flooding from runoff and development that occurred with large rains in 2019. Next slide. Next slide. We're seeing also major tree loss in our neighborhoods now. Missing middle will accelerate that depletion of our tree canopy. Next slide. The county already is lagging in planning services for new residents that have already been approved, and COVID-19 adds more complications. Missing middle housing will add fuel to this bonfire. Next slide. Next slide. We ask that the county provide fiscal impact analysis for new multi-use residential projects, that it release long-term operating budget forecasts now, and then it prepare 3 studies to show the long-term impact of missing middle, namely on the operating budget, on the environment, and on income inequality. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Bodine. All right, to go back to our speakers, our first speaker was Ann Bodine, I believe, with Arlingtonians for a Sustainable Future, concerned about missing middle. There is constant misunderstanding about missing middle. It's a study. We're trying to look at all of the questions and the concerns people have. That's what we're studying to figure it out and understand better all of the ramifications and connections. I'm going to invite any of my colleagues who would like to speak on this if they'd like to, because I know a number of us have been working quite a bit. Do any of my colleagues want to comment on missing middle? I will be meeting with the Arlingtonians for a Sustainable Future on Monday to be talking to them about this. So,
and Madam Chair, I may just bear noting that on the 22nd of September, a Tuesday at 3 p.m., we'll be having a work session, which will be a good opportunity for those who want to better understand the scope of the study and next steps to tune into.
Thank you for that reminder. That is absolutely correct. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Mr. Carantonis?
And just want to reiterate that there is a lot of materials already posted on the Arlington County website that, are significant for this study. So they are very informative to read and take in while we are studying that collectively here.
Yes, thank you. There are some really very good in-depth studies that have already been done and put up as a preliminary to the whole effort. So thank you for reminding us about that. Mr. DeFranti.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Ms. Bodine, for coming in. Appreciate the quick review of very dense, thorough slides that you put forward. I think it's helpful to hear the thoughts, and there are pieces of it which I certainly want to look in more detail at. If you're able to email the full PowerPoint to us as a board, I think that'd be helpful. I also am in the process, of course, of rereading and re-reviewing the compendia that came forward on missing middle, which I think can be found at Housing Arlington. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And you're absolutely correct. Ms. Bodine did an excellent job of getting a lot of information in very quickly, and I'm sure this will come up during our work session.